How's it going, movie fans? Welcome back to another review on the channel. Today we're looking at A Quiet Place, which was released in 2018. It was directed by John Krasinski and it stars John Krasinski himself as well as his wife Emily Blunt and Millicent Simmons and Noah Jupe rounds the cast off. Now, A Quiet Place is a very interesting film, and that's purely because it's so unique and it's so different to any other horror movie and also movie in general on the market. It's this something special that you don't see very often. Obviously, it's a very topical movie as of now because the sequel, Quiet Place Part 2, recently came out, which I have seen. I saw a double bill with my friends, this and the first and the second one. Now, obviously, when I went to see that, I had seen the movie before, so this is like my third or fourth time watching the movie now, like my second or third when I went to see it at the cinema. But my friends, when I went to see it in the cinema, hadn't seen the first one, so I knew what was coming up, but they didn't, so that made it a bit more interesting as well. But again, A Quiet Place is just such a... The concept is fantastic. The execution is even better. The sound editing and mixing in this movie is fucking incredible. It's brilliant. It really does have you on the edge of your seat, and it's one of those movies that if you get a chance to see it on the big screen, I highly recommend you watch it on the big screen because it's really, really worth that extra effort of seeing it on the big screen, you know. I really, really just, would recommend it. Because it's just a fantastic movie, and it's just so well written. And the fact that another thing, I was saying this to my friends on the way out, that the fact that this movie managed to really, have emotional moments and have that emotion be driven through subtitles, for both subtitles and obviously sign language is something really powerful for the film to be able, something that the film really has in droves and is really, good at showing that, the fact that it's able to have really emotional scenes, and those scenes only have, and have the scenes work with, have those emotional scenes be genuinely high, tense, emotional scenes with subtitles and sign language is a real feat to the movie, and I think it just adds just how, after seeing the second one, I still said to myself the first one's better, and it's not saying that's anything worse on the fact that the second one is not a terrible movie. It's just really, really good. But the thing is, obviously, with the first one, it's never going to compete, and it just makes me think that people are going to take that as me saying, oh, the second one's rubbish because it's not as good as the first one. It was never going to be as good as the first one, period. It could have been on par, but it was never going to be better as the first one because the first one was so unique in that it had... It's one of the few movies I've seen, I don't know if it is really that, if that's actually true, but to me it sticks out more here than if it has happened in other movies where the cast, I think it is probably just this one, but I don't know, where the cast is so small and you only follow these singular sets of characters and there's barely anyone else in the movie. And when you look at the cast list, there's everyone you see here on the screen, the main characters, the whole family, so Emily Blunt, John Krasinski, Noah Jupe, and Millicent Simmons, and then the only other person I believe in the movie, well, there's two other people, is obviously there's another kid in the movie at the beginning, not going to spoil what happens to him, and then there's the old man, and that's literally everyone who's in this movie. That's literally it. There's about, I think it's 6 people, yeah, it's like 6 people. 7 people, yeah. But it's just a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant movie that I recommend to absolutely everybody. It is fantastic, and I would, it's just a fucking amazing movie, man. And it's just so tense, and it's just, everyone, performance-wise, gives an absolutely fantastic performance here. And it just adds and builds to the tenseness that the movie really does bring itself to, and for a directorial debut by John Krasinski, it's a fantastic directorial debut, and it is one of my favourite movies, if not my favourite one of my favourite movies of all time, top 10 movies, I don't know, but it is a absolutely fantastically tense, terse action horror movie, more of a horror, and it is just the way it juggles its themes, and some scenes are really just, again, I have to praise the sound editing and sound mixing here as being so absolutely brilliant, as well as the score, the music, which is by Marco Beltrami, which you wouldn't think in a movie like this there'd be that much of it, but there is, the soundtrack that was released was 16 tracks long, so there is, music there, and it is quite good, and I like I want to call it the Quiet Place theme, or the motif at least, the piano, doom, doom, yeah, that sort of, that, you won't hear it in the back because I'm playing that track, but, yeah, it's just it's a fantastic horror movie. It's so tense, and it's so layered, and it is just fantastic, and I can't stress enough that it's worth going to see it. John Krasinski is a legend. He's a brilliant director, and I think it's just so interwoven itself in and it's great to see callbacks for the first one in the second one. Like, for instance, at the beginning of the second one, at the beginning of the first one, you see them enter this shop that's all run down and stuff, and in the beginning of the first one, which is a bit that takes place before all of the terrible stuff that happens here, it's literally day one, and you see John Krasinski go into that same shop, but it being fine and all the stuff on the and it's really quite cool callbacks and stuff like that. Again, I will get to the second one as soon as I can watch it a few more times, but A Quiet Place is fantastic. I would just, it's something so unique that I don't think we're going to see a movie as unique as this ever again, and the character deaths that take place in this movie, they do hit hard, and it's really special, but something really special that, as much as I didn't want it to get a sequel, it sort of almost required one with the ending, to be honest. So and I'm not saying that the sequel's bad, it's really not. It's actually really quite enjoyable, to be quite frank, and I did enjoy the sequel just as much as I enjoyed the first. But the first is always going to be better, in my opinion, and the first is a fantastic movie. So well paced, so well. The editing is fantastic. The one thing, obviously, that weakens it is, I do have to admit, the CG of the creatures is not exactly the greatest, but for something that you don't see on the screen that much in the movie, it's forgivable. But everyone just gives absolutely cracking performances in this movie, and yeah, like I said, it's a feat to the movie that it's able to actually, give quite emotional moments through the use of sign language and subtitles. It's absolutely, and it's another thing that, obviously, there's barely anyone in this movie, but also barely anyone speaks in this movie. It's all through sign language because of the one character who is deaf, who I actually found that the actress is actually deaf as well. I thought, which is probably kind of bad of me, but I thought that she learnt to use sign language and stuff, but she actually is deaf and genuinely does use sign language in real life. So I take it the rest of the cast had to learn sign language to do the scenes in the movie, which isn't a bad thing, I suppose. But yeah, the fact that it manages to relay this emotion across with subtitles and with sign language is really, really effective. In that, I cannot stress how unique and just special this film is. The first one, at least. I feel like I'm ashamed of myself that I missed it when it first came out in cinemas back in 2018. I have seen it in cinemas, which is a film I've wanted to see in cinemas for a very long time because of just how, again, I watched it, the first time I watched it, it was on a smaller screen, so the jump scares and the tenseness, it didn't hit me as much, but sitting in the cinema with my friends, seeing this movie, it really hits how it's a movie that's really, really, really meant to be seen on the big screen, like, genuinely meant to be seen on the big screen, and I can't, implore that enough, that this movie is, I know you're not going to get many chances to see it on the big screen, because it's not a movie they're going to really replay unless maybe, obviously, the double bill thing, which was cool. I don't think they're going to do a triple bill, because it just would be way too long for anyone to sit in the screen for. But I was lucky enough to get a chance to see it in the cinema after it had come out. I'm very thankful for that experience, and I think that it's just it's a movie that it's never going to be the same if you just sit and watch it at home on a screen, on a smaller screen. Even on a TV screen that's fairly big, it's still not going to have that atmosphere that most movies do. But yeah, that's my review for Quiet Place. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, so more reviews coming tomorrow and Monday. 2 more reviews left. Yeah, don't forget to check out the Twitch streams and stuff. This movie is going to be a lot higher quality than the last one, because I did some stupid editing things. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful day, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the follow button on my Twitch. Have a wonderful day, guys, And yeah, bye bye for now.